Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here to share 3 tips to survive the holidays, taking an anti-inflammatory approach. So I hope you enjoy this webinar. I am recording this to share with all of you on Facebook and other social media platforms. So we are here again talking about 3 tips to survive the holidays. With the holidays approaching, I know things are a little bit iffy of what they will look like this year in terms of the holidays. And so wanted to kind of come to you to talk about some tips you can do to help support through the holidays. And when I'm saying the holidays, I don't just mean traditional holidays that might be happening right now, but really it's about the winter season. I think a lot of people are going to be inside more. They're going to be with their families, but their immediate family more. They might not be able to see extended family. In the summer and fall, we were able to get outside, and so we could be around our family outside. And so it didn't feel as bad because we could still get together and just be on and still stay social distancing. But right now, um, because it's getting colder. If you're living in a cold climate, that makes it very hard. So, a little bit about me. So, before you start watching this, if you could just turn off all distractions and really become present with what we're talking about. And we're going to do a quick little centering exercise just to get in the space. So wherever you are, just take a nice moment to take a deep breath. We just finished up a Monday. Um, Today was a pretty calm Monday for me, but some Mondays are a little bit crazier. And so, depending on how your Monday was, it might be just nice to take a few deep breaths. Feel where your space is, where your body is in that space, with your feet planted on the ground. You can have your eyes open or closed. And we're just going to take 3 deep letting go breaths. And a letting go breath is breathing in through your nose and breathing out with a sigh or a sound. Really take a moment to feel where you are in this moment. If you're feeling tension, move your body around to release some of that tension. Move your neck, your shoulders to really feel where you are in space. So, just a little bit about me. My name is Heather Webster, and I am the founder of HW Wellness. And I'm a health coach, a trainer, and a mindful outdoor guide. I am an integrative nutrition health coach through IIN, and I was trained through Kripalu as a mindful outdoor guide. And I support women in losing weight, finding radical self love, and beating inflammation. And just like this webinar, I do it through anti-inflammatory practices. So just a little bit about kind of where I was and where I've come to and why I focus on inflammation. So um, not too long ago, I was feeling extreme pain. I was definitely going through a little bit of depression. I didn't really care whether I got out and got together with people. I had skin irritations. I had gained over 30 pounds in a very short amount of time. And I was feeling some anxiety and extreme exhaustion. And as I did some experimentation and really tried to figure out what was happening with me, I realized that there were certain foods that triggered these effects. And they were all foods that were more inflammatory. So that's why I wanted to come to you to talk about this, because once I cut those foods out, and I started implementing some anti-inflammatory practices such as mindfulness and pieces like that, I started to see my life change. So you can see these two pictures, right? And see the difference in these two pictures. One picture, the left picture, I look at like super vibrant. My eyes are really clear, no dark circles, and I just look like I'm ready to start the day. And on the right, I'm looking extremely exhausted, really dark circles. My eyes actually look more sunken in. My cheeks are more puffy, so you can see the difference just by cutting out some key ingredients out of my food and getting more mindful. So tonight, we are going to start by talking about getting mindful and staying mindful through the holidays and through the winter season. And then I'm going to dive into nutrition and like preparation before and follow through, and then finish with connection. So, when you're talking about getting and staying mindful, some things to ask yourself when you're in the moment is, what are you doing? Why are you doing it for? And the most important question, who are you doing it for? Right? So we can ask ourselves all the time what we're doing, and we can answer that question. But are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for somebody else? I did a live not too long ago on my Facebook group talking about being talked into food that you might not be interested in having, but somebody else is saying, "Oh, come on, just have a little bite," and you end up giving into that. So who are you doing it for? Right. So thinking that through when you're doing something that doesn't feel quite right or you don't really want to get to that. Um, but if you're in the moment and you're wanting to do something nice for somebody else, that's very different. Okay. So being mindful and asking these questions, these are also great journal prompts. So what are you doing? Why are you doing it? And who are you doing it for? And so when you're talking about something, like if you're having negative self-talk, what are you doing? You're having negative self-talk. Why are you doing it? Because it's programmed in your brain. You've been doing it for your whole life, and your brain instantly goes there. And who are you doing it for? Well, you're doing it for yourself so you can stay in that moment of negativity, but is it doing anything for you? I guess that would be the fourth question. Is it doing anything for you? So some tools to stay mindful during this time, journaling. So I always recommend having a journal near your bed. And you can either journal in the morning or in the afternoon or before you go to bed. I usually have some form of way to write something down no matter where I am. So sometimes I'm journaling while I'm on the trail. I might think of something and I just talk it into my phone. Or while I'm driving and I'm at a stoplight, and something comes to me, I might jot down one word on a piece of paper. And so I remember that word. Or when I'm sitting and doing something and I just jot it down. So journaling is a very powerful tool that can help process pieces, but also help with creativity and momentum. Another thing that might help you during this time is meditation. And meditation, again, I've talked about in different webinars, but meditation is a time where you can just be present and be in the moment. And so, and when I say in the moment with yourself. So you might be concentrating on breathing, or you might just be concentrating on saying a mantra, or just watching what's happening around you, but with stillness. Your eyes can be open, your eyes can be closed. You can be laying down, sitting, standing up. You can take that moment. Sometimes when I get together with family and it's overwhelming, I'll just walk outside and go for a little bit of a walk, for a quiet walk, just to be separate and to breathe and to process. Gratitude is another great piece. It kind of goes along with journaling, but you don't have to journal it. One thing I mention to the clients all the time is maybe writing 3 things of gratitude in the morning and 3 things of gratitude before you go to bed. Starts your day off great and ends your day off great. There's so many things to be grateful for, even in these times that are a little bit um, trying, right? And they can be small things that you show gratitude towards. It could be something small, such as small but large, right? So when I was putting the plastic up on my windows, at first I was frustrated that I had to put plastic on my windows, and I was like, why don't I have better windows in my house? But then I showed gratitude to the fact that I have windows. There's some people that don't, or I'm grateful for having clean water. I have a well, so I don't actually need to filter my water, right? So there's things that you can be so grateful for, having skills, having, they don't have to be just materialistic things. Waking up every morning, being able to make a phone call and call somebody you care about and love. The other way to stay mindful is just getting outside, being in the moment outside. If you go for a hike, slow it down for a little bit and walk as slow as you can and take everything in. Another way to stay mindful is to play. And play, when I say play, could mean anything. It could mean you are knitting or doing a puzzle, or it could mean that you're having a dance party, or it could mean that you're playing with children. Nothing beats playing with children and watching how in the moment they are. I see the same thing when I'm playing with my dog, right? He's so in the moment. He's so loving what's happening right then. He's not thinking about what's happening down the road. And that's the same thing with children. They're in that moment playing. And a lot of times you can see their thoughts come through their play. And you can do the same thing with your own play. This weekend, my play was creating a vision board. And I just went through old magazines and cut out phrases or words I liked, or colors that I liked, or pictures I liked, and put together a vision board. And that was my play. It helped keep me mindful of my intentions moving forward. And it also helped me really just gave me something creative to do, a creative outlet. I left this piece at the bottom. If you've been to other webinars of mine, you might have seen this. It says perception is the biggest indicator of how your body reacts. So what you're perceiving, if you're perceiving yourself in the moment, your body will react by being in the moment. If you perceive yourself being anxious, your body's going to react by being anxious. So if you perceive that you're stressed, right? One person's stressor is another person's like walk in the park. But if you perceive it being your biggest stressor you've ever dealt with, your body will react that way. And it will stimulate hormones to make sure that it's that way. So those are a couple of tools just to stay mindful in the moment. In terms of nutrition, when we're talking about nutrition, I'm talking about what kind of, I know a lot of people are on different kinds of plans. We've talked about no sugar plans with some of my clients that they're working on. I'm so proud of them working on that. And I'm starting to create some dishes for them that they can then play with, right? And so cooking can be play too. And so I'm excited to give them the recipes and the videos that I've created so that they can start creating those as well and trying them out. But when you're talking about nutrition and how you're eating and what your plan is for that day, plan ahead. So if you're thinking that you're going to be going to a get together with your immediate pod, so, right, I know some people, their pod is their family that might live in their neighborhood or nearby, and they've been getting together with them throughout this time and just getting small get-togethers with them because they're not going anywhere other than that. And the other people are working from home. And so they can have this little intimate group. But plan ahead if you worry about whether you're going to get faced with something that you don't want to eat or is not on your plan. So if you're trying to be sugar free and you're trying to get through the holidays by being sugar free, then bring something with you that you'll be able to have that you know has no sugar in it. If your plan is to, right, the same thing as if you're a vegetarian and you're going to a place where you know there's going to be meat, then you can plan ahead, especially if it's family, and bring something that you're able to eat. Always ask if you can bring something. And then it looks like you're trying to help, but also it's going to help you because you know there's something there that you can have. The other thing is have smaller dishes or servings. So again, if you are at your own house or at somebody else's house throughout this whole winter season, and moving forward, I only have small dishes at my house. I don't have those really large dishes. So everything I eat is on a smaller dish. It helps fool the brain that it's smaller and it's a smaller meal. I mean, it fools the brain that it's a bigger meal because it's on a smaller plate. So it looks bigger, right? The other thing is you can have, when you're looking at your serving size, if it's something that you know is going to trigger you. So I know sugar triggers me. It triggers me and sends me for a loop for days. It also makes me puffy. It adds so many different facets that I've started to see that it triggers, and I'm extremely addicted to it. And so if I'm going to have something that I know has sugar in it, I want to make sure that serving size is a lot smaller than other things that I might be having. Or not eating it at all because I know it's going to mess me up for the rest of the day, few days. And then if there's favorite foods that you love every season around this, or every time around this time of year, sorry, create substitutions. So start thinking about, what do you love? What can you recreate and be creative and recreate that so it meets you where you are and you can still try to have some amazing flavor within. And the last part on this nutrition slide, I think, is one of the most important. Be okay if you decide to have something that's off plan. Know it's okay and be okay with it. Acknowledge it and acknowledge that you might not feel great. Also keep track of, how do you feel a day, 2 days after, or even a couple hours after? Did it trigger something? Are you noticing that you're craving something sweet the next day after you eat that? But the biggest thing is, be okay with it. Don't call it bad. Just say, I had a piece of pie, and be okay with it. Because right when you say to yourself, I was bad, it triggers a stress response within your body. It starts to activate the sympathetic nervous system, which then activates your fat storage and makes you store more fat. It also keeps you at a heightened alert, and you need to eat more because your body's looking for energy. And it makes you in a stressed mode, which then has a multitude of effects. Versus if you just said, yep, I had a piece of pie and I'm okay with it. Nice, calm. You're in the sympathetic nervous system, nice and rested. You can digest that food very calmly. When you're in the sympathetic nervous system activation phase, you don't digest very well. And that's when you might see more stomach issues as well. So in the moment, be okay with what you ate and just move on from it. And find some activity that will be fun to do. Maybe you're playing a game with your family, and move on from that piece, because it is definitely okay. I did keep this in here as some ideas for you when we're looking at what you might want to have around the holidays and the winter and just general. So if you're talking about anti-inflammatory foods and inflammatory foods, this is a table that shows those anti-inflammatory foods. So some of you saw that I was cooking with spinach and apples and herbs this weekend. And I also made a smoothie with blueberries, and I had tea with ginger. And so when you're looking at this list, you can see there's so many anti-inflammatory foods. This is just a small portion of them. There's so many, and I keep putting on the Facebook group, Women Living an Anti-Inflammatory Life. In that Facebook group, I'm sharing different things such as artichokes and what their benefits are, and just sharing as much as I can to give you the information. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the inflammatory foods, right? So here we have the high carbs, high sugar, high fried foods. It's not because of the fat, right? It's the bad fat that might be in it. the vegetable oils and things like that. But the bread, the candy, the cookies, the cereal, pasta, chips, pretzels, everything that people says tastes so good, right? You can make the anti-inflammatory foods taste amazing as well. So just know that there's ways you can get around it. If you are seeing inflammation in your body, you can make the change. And I'm here to support you along the way to make your body healthier, to stop those aches and pains, to lose the weight. There are ways you can do it. So connection. One of the most important things right now is to try to stay connected with others. And so there are many, we are very lucky right now. There are so many ways we can be connected with people. I know we want to hold people, we want to hug people, but right now, the best things we know we can do is Zoom, FaceTime, phone calls, right? Ways we can stay connected with one another and see one another and be as real as we can with one another. The other way we can be connected is we might have recently lost a loved one. So you can write a letter to them. Share your feelings of what's happening, being able to process that with yourself by writing a letter to them or talking to them. You can get outside and be connected with nature. The number one thing you can do right now is be outside. You can be outside with others, or you can be outside connecting with nature. So powerful. Keep it simple and allow for flexibility during this time. Such an important thing. And still try to make sure you can celebrate. Dance parties. One moment, my dog's acting up. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So having dance parties, right? Putting on some 80s music or any kind of dance music you love and just go to town. Party with your family, party with yourself, party with your dog. Whatever you need to, whoever you can party with, right? I do dance parties probably about every hour on most work days. And I just have the music on and I just make sure I'm getting up and moving. Movement is so important too during this time. It's very easy just to sit down, watch the TV. It's dark out. But anytime you can move, the better. When you're celebrating, don't make food the center of your celebrations. Make games your celebration or parties or, dancing your center of your celebrations. Do anything but making food a center. Make healthy foods look inviting and fun through picky trays. You can choose fun alternatives to typical traditions, right? So not right now, nothing's typical that we're doing. And so what kind of alternatives can you do? Again, plan activities that encourage movement. So if you're together with your immediate family, get out for a walk. Run outside and play tag or kick the ball around or go outside if you have snow on your ground and make snow angels or snowball fights or just do like snowshoeing or taking a hike in the snow or building a snowman, right? So there's so many things that you can do that encourage the movement. That movement is going to help also with your mood. So if you're feeling down right now, getting outside, moving, eating those healthy foods, they're all gonna boost your mood. Find some new healthy recipes that you've never tried and try them. Remember, we're already not in our typical traditions, so why not create new ones with creating new foods? And find alternative ways to stay connected, which we talked about, and be the example. Show others how you're enjoying this time still, and even though it's different, being able to still have gratitude for what you do have. Zooming together during Christmas or Zooming together while you're playing like the dreidel game or whatever it is. Be the example by showing how much fun you could still have and still be connected. It's not the same, but it could still be great. Remember, a healthy attitude is contagious, but don't wait to catch it. Be the carrier. I love this statement by Tom Stoppard, right? Carry that healthy attitude and carry it to the next person so that they can then move on with it as well. So feel free to jump some questions or comments in the chat box and we can answer those, and I can write to you individually or let me know if you have any questions or comments. And then here are ways you can contact me. So here you have my website, my Facebook group, and my Instagram account. Feel free to follow me, connect with me. Any questions you have, let me know. I am going to be launching a new membership site, and I'm not launching it until it's not going to open until the end or middle to end of January. So if you want to be part of that membership group, let me know. Reach out to me so I can put you on the wait list. I'm only going to open it to a certain amount of people at this time. And so definitely get on the list so that you can get notified when it does open up. What I'm going to have for you is I'm going to have recipes, and I'm going to have videos on how to make those recipes. And I'm going to provide the grocery list for those. I'm going to have a course within that membership. We're going to talk about movement ideas. Sorry, excuse me. We're going to be talking about different names for sugars and grains and dairy and hormones. And I'm going to do live videos, and we're going to have question and answer time. And we're going to have a support system where we do coaching as a group. So if you want to get on that list, please let me know, reach out, and I'll put you on the wait list. I can't wait to see you in my membership. It's going to be much more interactive and wonderful. A lot of my clients have been asking to work as a group. And so that's where this is coming from. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I will see you again soon.